It has been exactly 497 days since we were supposed to have our commencement here in Camp Randall. For the class of 2020, those 497 days have been filled with first jobs, graduate school applications, and navigating adulthood while COVID-19 constantly changed the world around us. When I gave my virtual commencement speech for the 2020 ceremony, I was inspired by a sappy Andy Bernard office quote about the good old days. As I reflect on my time as an alumna of this great university, a different quote comes to mind. Michael Scott captured my feelings when he said, "I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do." Nothing could have prepared us for the pandemic that dominated our last spring semester at UW-Madison and the 497 days since we became alumni. Many of us were forced to rethink our post-graduation plans. We were separated from loved ones in quarantine, and we took our first steps into our hard-fought careers confined to virtual spaces. I had no idea how I was going to find a job post-graduation. I had no idea how to comfort the anxieties of my friends. I also realized I have no idea how to do my own taxes or make a meatloaf without FaceTiming my mom 10 times. But in a much more real sense, as a Badger, I knew exactly what to do. This university taught us to persevere, work hard, be creative, and overcome adversity. Our education gave us the tools to navigate the uncertainties of the world we now find ourselves in. Despite the circumstances, the class of 2020 continues to do amazing things. We are educators in virtual classrooms. We are journalists fighting disinformation. We are social workers combating inequality. And we are healthcare workers saving lives. I want to welcome all of you incredible Badgers back to Camp Randall and recognize the magnitude of our achievements. One such Badger doing amazing things is Dr. Katarina Wynn. Dr. Wynn was born and raised in Seattle, Washington, and earned a Bachelor of Science in Molecular and Cellular Biology from Johns Hopkins University. She attained her Doctor of Medicine here at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health, where she received a full academic scholarship and earned a Path of Distinction in Research for her research in breast malignancies. After graduating in 2020, Dr. Wynn completed her internship at the University of Maryland in internal medicine, where she worked on the front lines in the hospital during the peak of the pandemic. She is currently completing a radiation oncology residency at the University of Rochester Medical Center. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Wynn and applauding all of the healthcare workers who have selflessly and fiercely fought for all of us.
Thank you. Good afternoon, faculty, staff, friends, and family, class of 2020. It's been over a year since we truly graduated, but I can finally say we did it. The reason we're standing here together over a year later to finally acknowledge our accomplishments is COVID-19. We have all been impacted by this pandemic, but in this time, it has made us all stronger. Through our trials and tribulations, we have become more resilient as a society. In my past year as a resident physician, I have learned that the actual medicine I practice is only a fraction of my job. The other half is the importance of human connection. COVID-19 has impacted all of us immensely. I have seen it firsthand working on the front lines this past year. I've worked 28-hour ICU shifts, holding dying patients' hands, knowing that my compassion is all I have left to give when they're beyond medical care. I've taken care of infected patients on ventilators, calling their loved ones at their darkest hour, and conversely, been able to be a part of their joy and recovery. I have passed notes and valuable possessions from family members when visitors were not allowed, set up Zoom calls, and navigated through a world where patients could not see their doctor's face through masks and shields. I confess that I've shed tears with my patients and their families, both of loss and joy. I have been raised to be kind to others, and my education path has reinforced these values. Turns out we were taught all the right tools here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. For that, I would like to thank the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health faculty and staff for your dedication in preparing us to become competent public servants. I would also like to take a moment to thank my family for their undying love, support, and sacrifices that have allowed me to be standing here today proudly as Dr. Katerina Wynn, MD. Thank you, Mom, Dad, Grandma, aunts and uncles, Michael, for supporting me every step of the way. At the peak of this pandemic, we were all quarantined apart from our loved ones. We wondered if this was ever going to end. The lives we lost, the suffering, the fear, and stress, all compounded with isolation. Yet, as humans, we are a resilient crowd, but we will always remember those we have lost. I would like to ask all of you to join me in a moment of silence to remember friends, family, loved ones affected by COVID-19. Thank you. If I can part with final words of wisdom for my fellow Badgers, please take the time to tell your loved ones how much they mean to you. For if there's one thing this pandemic has taught us, it is that we need human connection to survive. Everything else, we got. Class of 2020, we're ready. On Wisconsin. Thank you.
After the virtual constraints of our 2020 ceremony, I am ecstatic to welcome our musical guests to the stage. Please rise and link your arms with your fellow Badgers as the Mad Hatters perform our time-honored tradition, the singing of varsity.
Praise to thee,
Wisconsin, obviously, has plenty of fans, but Provost Schultz is one of the most enthusiastic champions of UW-Madison that you can find. Carl Schultz began serving as provost and vice chancellor for academic affairs in August of 2019. Immediately prior, he served as dean of UW-Madison College of Letters and Science for 6 years. Schultz also is the Nellie June Gray Professor of Economic Policy in the Department of Economics, which he joined in 1988. Professor Schultz writes on diverse topics, including household saving, low-wage labor markets, and financial barriers to higher education. It is my honor to welcome Provost Schultz.
All right, folks, now it's time to get a little bit louder. So that's what we're talking about. So thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Dr. Wynn, and the awesome Mad Hatters. And good afternoon. Welcome, 2020 graduates. That's it. We could not be more thrilled to welcome you back to campus. We are delighted that you, your friends, your family are able to join us to recognize all of your accomplishments today. We gather here today in the beautiful, historic Camp Randall Stadium to celebrate you and your accomplishments. It should be no secret to anybody here that you have graduated from one of the finest universities in the world. You haven't heard anything yet, because a few weeks ago, rankings came out from an organization and a magazine called the Washington Monthly. The rankings are based, in the words of the monthly, on the degree to which universities recruit and graduate students of modest means. Second, produce a scholarship and scholars that drive economic growth and human flourishing. And third, encourage students to be active citizens and serve their country. Guess what the top 5 universities in the country are, according to the Washington Monthly? The top 5 universities with this gold standard rankings are Stanford, MIT, Duke, UW-Madison, and get this, coming in number 5, Harvard. Now let me repeat this. The top 5 in the country, Stanford, MIT, Duke, UW-Madison, and Harvard. And I'll guarantee one of those is not like the other, because one of those is the most fun university in the world. Now, please rise as you are able for the academic procession, because it is now my honor to get to introduce a number of people that helps account for the magnificent institution that we are. Processional Chancellor of one of the greatest universities in the world, Rebecca Blank. Pat Connaughton from the world champion Milwaukee Bucks. Regent Karen Walsh, UW System Board of Regents. CJ Zabat, Class of 2020 Alumni Speaker. Lauren Sorensen, Class of 2020 Senior Class President. Alyssa Birkland, Class of 2020 Senior Class Vice President. Chris Gitter, Class of 2020 Senior Class Events Director. Kayla Wynn, Class of 2020 Senior Class Communications Director. Sonam Dolma, Class of 2020 Senior Class Philanthropy Director. Lori Reeser, the wonderful Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. William Karpus, Dean of the Graduate School. Dr. Gwen McIntosh, Associate Dean for Students, School of Medicine and Public Health. Linda D. Scott, Dean and Professor of the School of Nursing. Daniel Tokaji, Dean and Professor of the Law School. Mel Devaliers, Vice Dean of the School of Pharmacy. Mark Markell, Dean of the School of Veterinary Medicine. Diana Hess, Dean of the School of Education. Eric M. Wilcox, Dean of the College of Letters and Science. Catherine A. Vandenbosch, Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. Ian Robertson, Dean of the College of Engineering. Vallabh Sanbamurthy, Dean of the School of Business. Annette McDaniel, Associate Dean for the School of Human Ecology. Paul Robbins, Dean of the Nelson Institute for Environmental Studies. Dr. LeVar Charleston, Deputy Vice Chancellor for Diversity and Inclusion. Sarah Shute, Chief Alumni Officer and Executive Director of the Wisconsin Alumni Association. And Scott Ochotic, University Registrar. Please join me in welcoming these official party members.
Rise for the singing of our national anthem, performed by Class of 2020 graduate, Bachelor of Music Performance, Josephine Annalyn.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Thank you, Josie, for a wonderful performance. Class of 2020, after the strangest and most difficult year and a half that many of us have ever experienced, it is wonderful to say, welcome back to campus, welcome to Camp Randall Stadium, and congratulations on your graduation from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, one of the top public universities in the world. Congratulations. To all the families who are joining us, who have spent not just the last 18 months, but the last 22 years, more or less, looking forward to this moment. Thank you for raising some truly extraordinary people and for helping us to bring them across the finish line. This day is for you too. Congratulations. And to the graduates, family, and friends joining us on live stream from around the world, across the state and across the country, a warm Wisconsin, and congratulations to all of you who are out there virtually. Today, we're going to celebrate every member of this class, but there is one group that I want to call out for special recognition. If you are the first generation in your family to earn a college degree, please stand as you are able, and let's congratulate them. Thank you. Class of 2020, every graduate who has sat where you sit today has faced many challenges to reach this moment, but few have done what you had to do. You completed your degree under very difficult circumstances and graduated into a world that looked entirely different from the one that you had planned for. Now, there should be two groups of graduates in the audience. Those who graduated in the spring and summer of 2020, where are you? And those who graduated in the winter of 2020, where are you? This is an historic day for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is this is the first time since 1965 that both our winter and our spring graduates get to celebrate commencement together in one place. Now I want to ask each of you to do something for me. Take a moment to look around. Friends and family, this means you too. See who's behind you, who's in front of you, who's down the road from you. Today, you are part of something that is incredibly rare in this country and even on this planet. A peaceful and a joyful gathering of people of every race and every religion. People from all over Wisconsin, the US, and around the world. People from big cities and small towns, and people from every rung on the economic ladder. All members of one big Badger family. Bonded not only by upheaval and the uncertainty that you've endured, but also by your deep commitment to taking action to take care of yourselves, to take care of each other, and to take care of the planet. Thank you all for being here. I want to note that the class of 2020 voted in record numbers, helped to perform more than 30,000 hours of community volunteer work, made our campus greener and more sustainable, and made UW-Madison the #1 university in the nation for Peace Corps volunteers. In this class, there are Rhodes Scholar finalists, national champion athletes, teachers, entrepreneurs, healthcare workers, and thousands of dedicated new alums working in many different fields to bring our country and our world to a better place. All of us on this stage are humbled by your determination to find a way over, under, around, and through every obstacle. Your class speaker, C.J. Zabat, will describe what he calls his zany adventure following graduation. Now, I doubt if any of you did exactly what CJ did, but many of you will relate to jumping into something you never imagined doing and maybe even having some fun with it. These experiences have given this class a unique identity that no other class will ever share. For the rest of your lives, you're going to be telling stories about graduating from college and going out into the world in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. And now you get to celebrate with the only people in the world who truly understand what it means to be a member of the UW class of 2020. These are people who came here, just like you did, 5 or more years ago, because they wanted to be engaged in solving complex problems out in the world. That's what UW-Madison is known for, but who never expected to immediately confront problems that impact all humanity: a global pandemic, social injustice and human rights, and climate change. Just as wars and terrorist attacks shaped your grandparents' and your parents' generation, these issues will shape yours. I hope that you will meet every challenge with the same persistence, flexibility, and resilience that brought you through your final semester here at UW. I hope that wherever life takes you, you will stay connected to this great university, and even more important, connected to each other. And I hope you will always take time to come back and visit us. We want to hear how you're doing. So to all of you here in person and on the live stream, from Bangkok, Thailand, to New York City, to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and every point in between, thank you for being part of our Big Badger family, and thanks for all that you gave to the campus community during your time here. Congratulations to each and every one of you, class of 2020, on Wisconsin. It is now my honor to introduce Karen Walsh, a member of the University of Wisconsin System Board of Regents. It's always a pleasure when a member of the UW Board of Regents has a deep connection to campus, and that's certainly true of Regent Walsh. She holds bachelor's and master's degrees in journalism from UW-Madison and worked on campus for more than 2 decades, retiring as an assistant dean. She and her husband, Dr. James Burby, are generous supporters of many organizations and charities through the Burby Walsh Foundation, which Karen directs. Regent Walsh is now the Vice President of the UW System Board of Regents, where it has been my pleasure to work with her. Please join me in welcoming Regent Karen Walsh. Karen.
Thank you for that kind welcome. And welcome back to all of you on what may be your first visit to campus as alumni. I hope it's the first of many visits. You might find that the University of Wisconsin seems to follow you wherever you go. Why? It's because you'll find Badgers all over the world, making a difference in Wisconsin, the United States, and in all corners of the globe. To quote a philosopher of sorts from the 1960s, Bob Dylan, "You'd better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing." As students, you experienced one of the most challenging years of change in the history of this university. None of us will soon forget this experience, the isolation, the vulnerability we all felt. If you have a chance, please consider thanking some of the folks who came together to make sure your education would not be disrupted. The family members, faculty, staff, and essential workers who stepped up for our campus community. The fact that you are here today tells me something about you. You're intelligent, resilient, and determined. Never underestimate the value of that resilience. It will serve you well in the future. But don't hesitate to ask for help if you need it. And do consider lending some of your resilience to someone else who's struggling and could use a hand up. Finally, please allow me to indulge in just a bit of nostalgia. When I received my undergraduate degree from this university in 1981, there were no computers in my journalism labs, just electric typewriters. Our phones were permanently attached to a wall and had something called a dial. You history majors may be familiar with those. A text was a required book for class. There was no internet, and we believed that cable TV was sure as good as TV viewing could ever get. If we wanted to see a movie on the cheap, there were no movie rentals or streaming services, but the student film societies had us covered at $1.50 for a classic like Casablanca in luxurious wood seating of B10 Commerce. 40 years from now, I have no doubt that one of you will be addressing Wisconsin graduates and marveling at the different world you see before you. I have no idea what those innovations will be, but I'm sure that Badgers will be at the forefront of those discoveries. On behalf of my fellow regents, hearty congratulations on your graduation and on Wisconsin.
It is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker for today's celebration. I don't have to tell any of you how difficult these last 18 months have been. We were all looking for something to rally around, and many of us found it in the feel-good story of the year, the Milwaukee Bucks winning the NBA championship. I mean, everyone already knew that they won their championship in July, the first in 50 years. Like many of you, I watched the winning game in the Deer District with thousands of other fans, and I can tell you that the whole city, really the whole state, came alive. Shooting guard Pat Connaughton was a huge part of that. He gave everything he had to the winning effort. That's always been his trademark. This is a guy who was drafted by both the NBA and Major League Baseball. In addition to being a superb athlete, he earned a business degree from the University of Notre Dame and uses those skills as the owner of a real estate development company. Yeah. He knew that was coming. Owner of a real estate development company, and is the founder of a nonprofit organization that works to provide access to athletics for all kids. He may be from the East Coast, but really, he's come to embody Wisconsin. And we couldn't be happier to claim him as one of us. Please join me in welcoming, from the NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks, Pat Connaughton.
Good afternoon, everybody. beautiful day we're having here. I want to take a second and say thank you to Chancellor Blank, faculty, family, friends, parents, and of course, you, the 2020 graduates. It's a privilege and honor to stand before you today. I cannot thank you enough for this invitation. I am humbled, I am grateful, and honestly, a little bit nervous, a little bit sweaty, but that's okay, because I have a surprise for you guys today. I brought my friend, Larry O'Brien, to help me cope with that sweatiness and that nervousness. I figured it'd be a little bit tough to hate on the NBA championship trophy. Bucks in 6, Bucks in 6, Bucks in 6. So, I'm going to start with a question I asked myself when Chancellor Blank extended this invitation to me. Why would the University of Wisconsin, one of the most prestigious universities in the world, ask me, Pat Connaughton, to speak at such a momentous event? And so I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking about a few of the potential thoughts that Chancellor Blank may have had. The first one, he's a professional athlete. Pro athletes don't usually have that much to say, so you guys should get to the after party pretty quick. The second one, he is from Boston, has a loud voice, probably has one of those funny Bostonian accents, so no one should fall asleep. The third one, as was alluded to earlier, he's a graduate of Notre Dame, and hold on, wait for it. He's a graduate of Notre Dame, and they are on our football schedule this year, so it may be a competitive advantage if we start some psychological warfare the week before the event. Or the fourth one that came to mind was the Milwaukee Bucks did just win a world championship, so this may be the only opportunity we have to get the trophy to campus. But in all seriousness, whatever the reason may be, they say there's some truth to every joke, right? But I believe one of the reasons I was asked to speak to you here today was because I'm fortunate to have the privilege to work alongside superheroes. I am fortunate that on a daily basis, I can learn from these superheroes. They are literally superhuman at what they do. They are the best of the best of the best. And today, I would like to take the moment to share with you guys, class of 2020, what I have learned from these superheroes. My hope is that it will be of some value, some real significant value as you move forward. After all, you guys, as a class, have had to show a certain superhuman strength of your own. So, about these superheroes I get to interact with on a daily basis. There's the obvious. They're towering figures who leap with impossible ease, who fly down the court with blinding speed, and whose mental makeup allows them to stare down the most pressure-packed situations with a sense of icy calm. But what distinguishes these superheroes from the rest isn't so obvious. You've all seen different MVPs in professional sports. We have 3 of them right here in Wisconsin. Giannis, Christian Yelich, Aaron Rodgers. So you guys have probably seen their superhuman abilities up close. I get to interact with one of them on a daily basis, and I've been able to witness what makes him a superhero. In the weight room, on the practice court, in his recovery routine, through his pregame focus, in his friendships, and who he is as a family man. Being surrounded by Giannis and other superheroes across the NBA I am reminded every single day that there will always be people stronger than me, faster than me, and better than me. There will always be people who can do things that I cannot do. When you're striving to be your best amongst the best, there is a constant feeling of discomfort, of self-consciousness, and a fear of mediocrity that may make you shy away from. But early on in my career, I learned that those were the exact people that I wanted to be around. I needed to be around. The ones who were doing what seemed impossible and in the process challenging me to be better. Challenging me to be comfortable with being uncomfortable every damn day. So here's some questions I want to ask you to think during this speech. Who's somebody that really challenges you? Who's another person that really challenges you? Who's somebody that's perceived to be better than you at a certain skill? Who's another? Do you admire these people or do you envy them? Do you interact with these people or do you shy away from them? Our lives are an endless carousel of decisions. But what's influencing your decisions? Is it desire or is it fear? I've learned the fear of failing does not resonate with these superheroes. They thrive off pressure. They take adversity in stride. They regret nothing and learn from everything. For it's not about avoiding regret. It's about savoring the moments in which you were able to maximize your talents. Those are the moments worth building on. My goal is to help you think more critically about your dreams and how you plan on achieving them. At a young age, like any young athlete, I had dreams, goals, aspirations. My father taught me the importance of hard work, time management, and accountability. That the outcomes of my goals had a cost, and time was that cost. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. How we utilize those 24 hours will directly relate to what you're able to accomplish. Growing up, I had two major goals, a short-term goal and a long-term goal. My short-term goal, I was in 6th grade. I read a Sports Illustrated for Kids article on Vince Carter and how he was able to dunk by the time he was in 8th grade. I was obsessed with dunking on my mini hoop in the basement. So I told my dad I wanted to be able to dunk on a 10-foot rim by the time I graduated 8th grade. The problem? My physique was equivalent to that of a marshmallow. I was about 5'6", and I kind of looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy. My father bought me a weight vest, and he said how I used or did not use that weight vest over the next 2 years would determine the outcome of my goal. It was about the decisions I made when I was tired, when it didn't seem like there was any progress from the week before, when my friends were going to the park, and the consistency in which I made those decisions. My first dunk, April 21st of my 8th grade year. And I remember that feeling like it was yesterday. My long-term goal was something that I wished for when I blew the candles out every year on my birthday. It was the dream to be drafted in 2 professional sports, the MLB and the NBA. And I can tell you all of the stories about being cut by all-star teams in middle school, working out for 8 hours a day in high school, and being laughed at by NBA scouts in college. But there was one that aligns well with what I want you to remember from today, because not everybody is going to believe in you. I had just thrown a no-hitter my senior year of high school. And after the game, my athletic director stopped me to make an introduction. It was a local guy whose son was somewhat of a legend in my area. He was playing at Fenway Park that night for the Washington Nationals. His father was friends with our athletic director, who mentioned I had a dream of someday being a pro athlete. And at this time, if there was even a sliver of a chance of me becoming a pro, everybody, and I mean everybody, was sure it was going to be baseball. After seeing my performance alongside about 20 MLB scouts who were there, he was kind enough to stick around and give me some words of wisdom. Those words, 90 straight minutes of how dumb it was to play 2 sports in college. That it would be the most detrimental thing I could do for my chances of becoming a professional athlete. He actually predicted it would ruin my collegiate career as well. But I learned something that day, something that might be a little bit different than what you may think after hearing a story like that. I learned that treating somebody with kindness and respect, even when you vehemently disagree with what they're saying, is a skill that you must have in today's day and age. Because there's opinions, and their opinions specifically, those who don't believe in you, have absolutely no effect on what you can accomplish unless you let them. And what I learned after accomplishing something as far-fetched as dunking, at least for, 12-year-old Pat, who had just finished his 3rd Twinkie, never say never, because limits, much like fears, are often just an illusion of our imagination. And what's funny about that particular quote I just mentioned, I saw it the first day I stepped into an NBA facility printed on the wall. And I quickly realized every last one of the 450 NBA players had a similar, if not more impressive, story than I had. So to bring it back to the superheroes I referenced, what separates them if hard work, time management, and accountability are a given? What knowledge can I give to you here today that will translate far beyond my playing surface? It's their mentality. Their goals are mapped out. They know what they are striving to accomplish, and they work backwards to figure out the skills they'll need to get there. They aren't just working hard, they are working hard on specific areas of their craft. They stay in the present. Our minds are a binary thing. It's impossible to think of 2 things at the exact same time. Go ahead, try it. It's hard. I just tried it. It took me a while. I didn't graduate from Wisconsin. We get into trouble when our minds skip from the past to the future and vice versa, in turn skipping the present. The past, it will bring out guilt and frustration based off what just may have happened. The future will bring out fear and anxiety based off what could happen. But the present is our reality. It's what is actually happening. The present is about focusing on the moment, not the environment surrounding the moment. For example, Game 6 of the NBA Finals. 2 minutes to go, up by 5, chance to win Milwaukee's first NBA title in 50 years, the entire world watching. That's a hell of a moment. And there were countless others throughout our playoff run. You and your classmates are really smart and talented individuals. You have attended and now graduated from one of the best universities in the world. But your natural talents alone will not get you to be the thoughtful, caring, successful adults that you can become. As you enter the workforce, continue your education, whether you go into accounting, teaching, engineering, finance, zookeeping, or anything in between, there are things you can do to make yourself successful. Things that will make your world a better place. It starts with the hard work 12-year-old Pat grew to love. It continues with the mental fortitude Giannis used to stay in the present and make 17 of 19 free throws in Game 6 of this year's NBA Finals, the most he's ever made in a playoff game, on the biggest stage to solidify his Finals MVP award. In my opinion, there's one other thing that you can take with you that I use on a daily basis. I like to call it collecting people. I would not be where I am today if it weren't for the people that have surrounded me. Athletically, they've helped me reach the pinnacle of sports, an NBA championship. But in the business world, a world a lot of you will find yourselves in, I have been fortunate to learn from countless mentors. I've gone from flipping $100,000 homes to developing $15 million buildings in about 5 years. Not because I'm the smartest guy in the room, but because I know I am not the smartest guy in the room. Find out who is. Listen to them. Ask them questions. Follow up. Cultivating a genuine relationship is invaluable because it's not always about what you know, but who you know. You have a university that is vast with an alumni network willing to lend a helping hand. I know this because I've been lucky enough to learn from one of them. One of the best this university has ever produced. And what he's taught me, it's about surrounding yourself with good people. Giannis, he's a better person than he is basketball player. And the world has seen how good of a basketball player he is. Your fellow alum, who I was referring to, Ted Kellner, he's a better person than he is businessman. And he's one of the most successful businessmen this state has ever seen. If you're wondering, his name's on that hall right up there. It's no coincidence that good things happen to good people. Sure, the answers are different for everybody. Your path is not mine, but the core values remain similar. So set your goals. Be deliberate and intentional about the work you put in. Figure out what you want to accomplish. Assess your own strengths and weaknesses. And develop a plan specific to the skills needed to achieve that goal. A lot of people work hard, but not a lot of people work hard on things that directly relate to their goals. Maximize your 24 hours. There's one thing that none of us can get back, and that's time. We're all gifted the same 24 hours in a day. How you prioritize those 24 hours will determine your success. Be present. Learn from the past. Be inspired by the future, but live in the present. Build your network. They say your network is your net worth. Be stubborn about who you let in, but be deliberate about keeping them in. Be humble and work hard. The true measure of a person's success isn't about what they've accomplished individually, but how many others they've helped along the way. And finally, there's one thing that ties all of this together: consistency, relentless consistency. I am not the most talented player in the NBA, and I am not, by any means, the smartest businessman. My confidence comes from the consistent work ethic that I put in. And your work ethic is within your control. So control it. Because in the real world, there is winning and there is losing. There will be bumps in the road. Failure is inevitable. But how you respond to failure, that's your choice. In closing, I'd like to say thank you again for the opportunity to pass along any bit of advice that might be useful to you in the future. If you haven't already thanked your parents or the countless people who assisted in your journey, thank them. If it wasn't for them, you would not be sitting here. And if you remember anything out of this whole address, remember this: we all have the potential to be superheroes in different ways. But it's the journey that makes it worth it. The superheroes I've witnessed over the last decade, they didn't focus on the results. They focused on the process of getting better at their craft and being better people and enjoying the journey on a daily basis. So, congratulations on becoming graduates of the University of Wisconsin. I wish you the best on whatever journey you choose. Remember, I was just a 12-year-old kid who loved double stuffed Oreos. But from this year on, for the rest of my life, thanks to this trophy, I will always be known as an NBA champion. I'm excited to see what you all accomplish. And although I may be on another sideline next weekend, go Badgers.
Class of 2020, it is my honor to introduce to you an outstanding member of our graduating class who will share remarks with us today. For those of us who made it to the student section prior to kickoff, you may recognize him as the drum major who defied physics by touching his head to the ground on the 50-yard line before each game our junior year. If not there, maybe you saw him in a red polo leading tour groups around campus, introducing hundreds of future Badgers to our home. Did you lead the group with Steve Carell? No. And even if you missed him then, he just may have traveled to your new city post-graduation on his year-long stint as a hot dogger with the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. From eating a rock to eating hot dogs, he's learned a few things along the way to share with us today. Please join me in welcoming CJ Zabat.
Thank you, Alyssa, for the kind introduction. There is that moment that you'll always identify with being a Wisconsin Badger. Maybe it was your first jump around or the lecture that inspired your ambitions. For me, it's my family waking me up as we drove to Madison for the very first time going down John Nolan Drive. Many of you probably saw that same view as you were coming in today. I was in awe of the morning sun reflecting off of Lake Monona and the Capitol shining bright in the skyline. Whatever your moment was, we all knew that we wanted to be a Badger, but we didn't know what exactly that would all look like. Our college journey is made up of all kinds of moments like these. Moments in history, moments on campus, and moments of happiness. Since our first day, I chased more of those moments. In doing so, I found the people who meant the most to me and the ideas that pushed me the farthest. I went to places I had never been, mentally and physically, and sometimes ended up in places I did not want to be. I lost the drive to be an engineer and found myself on academic probation, not knowing what truly made me happy and what or why I wanted to study. I would look at crowds on campus, not seeing many who looked like me, feeling intensely alone, only to go home, look in the mirror, and not know who was staring back. It's here where we all picture something different that carried us through those low points. When I talk about best friends, you might not picture Isabel, Connor, Jacob, or Alexis, but you know that feeling of trust and reassurance. When I talk about favorite restaurants, you might not be at Baraka with me, but you're ready to chow down. When I talk about relaxing, though, I know you and I are both at the terrace, looking over Lake Mendota as the sun sets. With my family and friends at my side, I changed myself and the world around me to find more moments of happiness. I became brave as a way to conquer fear and discovered passion as a way to process pain. I started writing again and was finally invested in my education as a journalism and Afro-American studies student. I stepped up to represent the university as a tour guide, and I marched down this same field as drum major in the hopes that when people of color looked at UW-Madison, they didn't just see me, but themselves. Then, at what seemed like the beginning of the end, we leapt from the assuredness of graduation into the uncertainty of the pandemic. The ending to college was scrapped, and before we knew it, the start of our careers was revised. Graduating last May, we didn't just become alumni. We became nurses, activists, educators, and everything in between. For me, this meant driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, which, as zany as it sounded, was also just as profound, because I was lucky enough to help create joy while living in the toughest of times. I promised myself that I would come back to Madison after the Wienermobile as a smarter, stronger, and braver person so I could better carry out the Wisconsin idea. Now, on this September afternoon, I'll let you be the judge of whether I kept my promise, but one thing is for sure, I definitely have a lot more hot dogs in my stomach. None of us is the same person that signed off on Canvas one last time in May of 2020. Watching the NIC not open until after you graduate really changes you. It's free admission this weekend for us also, if you want to do that. In all seriousness, though, since our original commencement, we handled a presidential election, a global pandemic, and a social revolution. And yet, as alumni, all of us continue to chase moments of happiness, whether in a classroom, an office, or a giant hot dog. Whatever you have taken on after graduation, I hope you tackle it with the same tenacity that you had as a student. Because today, we remind ourselves that we aren't just Badgers, we are the class of 2020. We don't search for knowledge, we sift and winnow. We don't walk into game day, we march. There will never be another class of 2020. We graduated into a most uncertain year, and it's up to us to give future Badgers and those that come after us the chance to make their very own moments of happiness. Just as we did on campus, as alumni, we must continue to pursue progress and advocate for what matters. Black Lives Matter. Stopping AAPIDA hate matters. Representation matters. We must keep chasing our better selves and creating a better world, going forever forward by the bright, shining light of the moon. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your work. Mahal kita, eat a rock. Once a Badger, always a Badger, and on Wisconsin. Now, we've all been sitting for a minute, but no visit is complete to Camp Randall without the best tradition in all of college football. I've got not one, but two special friends to bring up on stage with me right over there, so that for one more time, we as the class of 2020 can jump up, and get down, because we're about to make Camp Randall jump around.
Your last moment of jump around in Camp Randall as almost students. Typically, at this point in the program, we begin to confer degrees, but you've already graduated. Class of 2020, you've had your degrees conferred on online commencement events. You've received your diplomas. You are alumni of the university. So while this moment may be a little different than what would have happened in 2020, we want to take this moment to acknowledge your accomplishments and recognize you by school, college, and degree type. Let's start with those bachelor degree recipients who distinguished themselves scholastically by ranking in the top 20% of their school and college or being in the honors program. Graduates, you may have honors stoles on, you may not. Please stand and let us recognize their accomplishments. You may be seated. At this time, we're going to recognize each graduate by the school and college that issued their degree. And I'm going to call upon each dean to present the candidates. And for those of you who have mortarboards on, that's most of you as I look out there, we will have a ceremonial tassel turning at the end of all of this. Let me first call upon William Karpus, Dean of the Graduate School.
Graduates with the degrees Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Musical Arts, and Master of Fine Arts will please rise as you are able. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Karpus.
These scholars have devoted significant time to graduate study and research. In addition, they have defended theses or presented exhibitions that have been accepted by faculty committees as substantial contributions, signifying scholarly or professional achievement in their respective fields. They have achieved the highest academic recognition in their fields given by the university, the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Musical Arts, or Master of Fine Arts.
It is my great honor to recognize these graduates for their scholarly and professional achievements in their respective fields of study. I invite you to join me in a round of applause to recognize these accomplishments here today. Congratulations. I now call upon Dr. Gwen McIntosh, Associate Dean of the School of Medicine and Public Health.
Graduates with the degree of Doctor in Medicine, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Master of Genetic Counselor Studies, Master of Physician Assistant Studies, and Master of Public Health, please rise as you are able.
Dean McIntosh.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the course of study in medicine, physical therapy, medical genetics, physician assistant studies, or public health. On the behalf of the faculty of School of Medicine and Public Health, I acknowledge their degrees. Graduates, please remain standing.
I now call upon Mel de Villiers, Vice Dean of the School of Pharmacy.
Graduates with the degrees Doctor of Pharmacy, Bachelor of Science, Pharmaceutical Sciences, and Bachelor of Sciences, Pharmacology and Toxicology will please rise if you're able. Chancellor Blank.
Vice Dean Villiers.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the course of study in pharmacy. On behalf of the faculty of the School of Pharmacy, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing.
I call upon Linda Scott, Dean of the School of Nursing.
Graduates with the degrees Doctor of Nursing Practice and bachelor's degrees in the School of Nursing will please rise as able. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Scott.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of their course of study in nursing practice. On behalf of the faculty in the School of Nursing, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing.
I call upon Mark Markell, Dean of the School of Veterinary Medicine.
Graduates with the degree Doctor of Veterinary Medicine will please rise. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Markell.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the courses of study in veterinary medicine. On behalf of the faculty of the School of Veterinary Medicine, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing if you're able.
I now call upon Daniel Takaji, Dean of the Law School.
Graduates with the degrees Doctor of Juridical Science, Juris Doctor, Master of Laws, and Master of Laws legal institutions will please rise. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Takaji.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the courses in law. On behalf of the faculty of the law school, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing.
I call upon Diana Hess, Dean of the School of Education.
Graduates with the following degrees will please rise if you are able. Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Science Art, Bachelor of Science Art Education, Bachelor of Science Athletic Training, Bachelor of Science Dance, Bachelor of Science Education, Bachelor of Science Education Studies, Bachelor of Science Health Promotion and Health Equity, Bachelor of Science Kinesiology, Bachelor of Science Physical Education, Bachelor of Science Rehabilitation Psychology, and Bachelor of Science Theater and Drama. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Hess.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the courses in education. On behalf of the faculty of the School of Education, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing if able.
I now call upon Eric Wilcox, Dean of the College of Letters and Science.
Graduates with the following degrees will please rise if you are able. Doctor of Audiology, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Arts Journalism, Bachelor of Landscape Architecture, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science, Applied Math, Engineering, and Physics, Bachelor of Science, Journalism, Bachelor of Social Work. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Wilcox.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the course of study in Letters and Science. On behalf of the faculty of the College of Letters and Science, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing if you are able.
I once again call upon William Karpus, Dean of the Graduate School, to recognize our master's degrees.
Graduates with the following degrees will please rise as able. Master of Accountancy, Master of Arts, Master of Business Administration, Master of Engineering, Master of International Public Affairs, Master of Music, Master of Professional French Studies, Master of Public Affairs, Master of Science, Master of Social Work. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Karpus.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the course of study in their respective fields. On behalf of the graduate faculty, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing as able.
I now call upon Catherine Vandenbush, Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences.
Graduates of the following bachelor's program degrees in the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences will please rise. Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science, Agricultural Business Management, Bachelor of Science, Biological Systems Engineering, Bachelor of Science, Landscape Architecture, and Bachelor of Science, Nutrition and Dietetics. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Vandenbosch.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the course of study in Agricultural and Life Sciences. On the behalf of the faculty in the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing as you are able.
I now call upon Vlab Samba Murphy, Dean of the School of Business.
Graduates of the Bachelor of Business Administration in the Wisconsin School of Business will please rise if you're able. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Samba.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the course of study in business. On behalf of the faculty of the School of Business, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing if you're able.
I now call upon Ian Robertson, Dean of the College of Engineering.
Graduates of the following bachelor's degree in the College of Engineering will please rise. Bachelor of Naval Science, Bachelor of Science Biomedical Engineering, Bachelor of Science Chemical Engineering, Bachelor of Science Civil Engineering, Bachelor of Science Computer Engineering, Bachelor of Science Electrical Engineering, Bachelor of Science Engineering Mechanics, Bachelor of Science Engineering Physics, Bachelor of Science Geological Engineering, Bachelor of Science Industrial Engineering, Bachelor of Science Material Science and Engineering, Bachelor of Science Mechanical Engineering, Bachelor of Science Nuclear Engineering. Chancellor Blank.
Dean Robertson.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the course of study in engineering. On behalf of the faculty of the College of Engineering, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing if you're able.
I now call upon Annette McDaniel, Associate Dean of the School of Human Ecology.
Graduates of the following bachelor's degrees in the School of Human Ecology, please rise as you are able. Bachelor of Science, Community and Nonprofit Leadership. Bachelor of Science, Human Development and Family Studies. Bachelor of Science, Human Ecology. Bachelor of Science, Interior Architecture. Bachelor of Science, Personal Finance. Bachelor of Science, Retailing and Consumer Behavior. Bachelor of Science, Textiles and Fashion Design. Chancellor Blank.
Associate Dean McDaniel.
These scholars have successfully completed the requirements of the course of study in human ecology. On behalf of the faculty in the School of Human Ecology, I acknowledge their degrees. Please remain standing.
Class of 2020, this is it. You have already graduated, but this is the moment that encapsulates all that has been taken from you in the past year and a half. As a symbolic gesture, and in recognition of the completion of your degrees, graduates, please move your tassels from the right to the left and join me in a round of applause for all of our graduates. How long does it last?
Love the fireworks.
You know,
Love their fireworks.
but it was just a little bit last time. You all got the super duper double fireworks today. Please be seated. In a moment, our celebration will conclude with the singing of Varsity. After Varsity, please remain standing until the stage, party, and the entire faculty processional have reached the south end zone. Congratulations again to all our graduates, and a special thanks to the family and friends who made today possible. Please join me and Professor Scott Teeple and the university's Meade Witter School of Music Commencement Band in singing Varsity.